Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Morales Outdoors TikTok Live podcast. I am your host, Pedro Morales, and we have the beautiful, wonderful Kendra Mueller.
Yes, you pronounced it right. Good job.
Because last time, remember, the very first time I said Mueller, and you're like, it's Mueller.
Yes.
All right, now, man, let's get started. First and foremost, I love the story that I read about you as a little girl, and not just what you messaged me, but also that article I think it was the very first article that I read. And by the way, a couple of those writers did an amazing job, especially that one that referenced those women being kidnapped and boated over and all that stuff. I like how he tied all that in. That was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I really appreciated the story of you being a young girl starting off with live bait and the tricycle thing. So I want you to start off and talk to us about that off the top of your head, your memories on that. Throw in, a couple of the first fish that got you hooked on catching fish.
I remember the specific fish that really got me going, but I started fishing with my grandfather. No one else in my family, in my immediate family, fish at all. They, for the longest time, thought I was just weird, especially once I got into the tournament fishing. They're just like, what in the heck? But my grandfather and he had a house on Long Lake in a Harrison, and I would go spend the entire summer with him, and we would just fish all day. And he fishes. It made me laugh because you were talking about when you were fishing the other day for walleye, how you had the night crawlers and you had them filled with air. Well, my grandfather and I used to do that with the hypodermic needle, and we put the air underneath the skin, and we did the same thing. He's the one that taught me how to do that. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
we fished for every species, and he ate everything, like everything. And so, I spent all those summers up there, and he ended up passing away when I was probably about 12 and left the house to the whole family. So we used to kind of divide it between weekends, and my mom would take me up there, and I would get up in the morning, and I had my lawn chair set on the end of the dock, and I would sit out there all day. She'd have to bring me food because I wouldn't even eat. And I remember I was out there and I was fishing with live bait. I probably had a crawler or something on, and I caught my first big northern pike. That was the fish that got me just completely geeked about fishing. I'm out there screaming, help, get a net, where, I didn't have a net. I didn't have anything. And my mom knows nothing about fishing. She's trying to scramble through the shed looking for a net. And we finally caught the fish, and I had one of those baskets that you hang in the water, stuffed that sucker in there. I don't remember
how big do you think it was?
What?
How big do you think it was?
Probably not very big. I wasn't very big, so it seemed huge, but I would bet it was maybe 30 inches.
Oh, that's a huge. Not for a pike, but for a young girl, that's huge.
Yeah, it seemed humongous. Yeah.
You got pictures of that?
No, I do not.
Dang,
I don't think so.
That would have been so cool.
All the old pictures, but I don't think my mom took a picture of them. Picture of me. So yeah, so that's basically how I got hooked on fishing, and we did grow up. We had a house on Whitmore Lake, and we had lake access, so I fished, for panfish and stuff out there all the time. And that's where the story of the tricycle and me going around and collecting all the worms. I would go after it would rain, I'd collect all the worms and I'd hang them over my handlebars of my tricycle and ride down to the lake with my worms that I called eagles. I don't know why.
You called the worms eagles?
I called the worms eagles.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Well, I don't know why. I was just little, but yeah.
Right.
My mom still tells that story to this day.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, that's basically how I got started. And then I just continued on, fishing live bait pretty much until the last 10 years. That's all I fished. I would go out with I'd have 2 rods. I'd have one set up to catch small panfish, and then I have another one that was set up to put the panfish on, and I'd throw it out, and that's
You
how I
think
would
catfish or whatever.
Oh, mostly bass. I mean, just huge bass.
No, you're catching the bass on bluegills?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Largies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
most of the inland fishing around here that I do, the majority of it is largemouth.
Yeah.
Um,
Going out on the big lakes and fishing, that's when you're going after the smaller.
Yeah, when I'm out on, Lake St. Clair and Detroit River and Erie, we're targeting smallmouth.
Yeah, Erie and St. Clair is huge for smallmouth.
So is the river. So is
Yeah,
the,
and see, I've never heard anything about the river living in Michigan. It was always those two lakes.
yeah.
That is so cool. So now, your transition. You said 10 years ago you started doing, and I know you said your whole life you were fishing live bait, and then
I always carried a tackle box with me filled with all kinds of stuff, right?
but just always went with it.
Always ended up back on to what I was comfortable with, which was the live bait.
Yeah.
So what got me into like seriously consider tournament fishing is kind of a funny story. My sister and I were out, her and I were out garage sailing together one day, and we saw this big, what looked like a big black dog standing in the middle of the road. So her and I, dog lovers, we're going to rescue the dog. Well, it ended up being a yellow lab covered in mud.
Oh, wow.
Covered in mud. And so we gathered this guy. Woohoo! Thank you for the cowboy hat there. And then, so we gathered this dog up, got him in the car, called the tags, got the dog back to his owner. Well, his owner turned out to be someone that used to tournament fish. And we started talking. We actually started dating for a while. And he had me bring over my tackle box, and he was looking through my stuff, and he's like, why don't you tournament fish? And I'm like, well, I don't have a boat. He's like, well, you don't have to have a boat. He goes, you just got to find somebody that has a boat. He wasn't tournament fishing anymore, but I said, well, I'm not ready to tournament fish anyways, because all I fish is live bait. He goes, well, you obviously have good tackle here, so you need to start focusing on fishing artificial if you want to tournament fish. So what I did that year is I helped him start. We together started up the Southeast Michigan Angler's Choice, just a division of Angler's Choice here in our area. So I helped run that tournament trail. And I took that year to learn how to fish artificials. Thank you, Dingo. And so for an entire year, I fished out of this one of those little I forget what they call them. They're just these little plastic bass boats. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
So I fished out of the small little private lake, and I just would pick one artificial bait, and I would only fish that until I got a confidence arsenal of baits.
What bait?
So I was fishing a spinnerbait, a popper, Senko, and jig.
Oh wow, okay. Like a swim jig or like a football jig?
More like a little flipping jig.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So once I felt like I was confident enough, then that's when I started with the tournament fishing. So I spent a whole those people in that neighborhood thought yes, it was a bass buggy. Yes, Bayou, that's correct. It was a bass buggy. The people at that private lake thought I was the most insane person, because I would fish, didn't matter what the weather was like. If it was pouring rain, I'd be out there. And I'd be coming off the lake, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, on tournament day, you don't get to pick what the weather's going to be like.
Exactly.
So you got to learn how to fish it all.
That's brilliant.
So that's what I did. I just would fish no matter what the weather was like. I would figure it out, and I kind of just started slowly, building my arsenal from there. So that year I went and promoted that tournament trail at the Ultimate Fishing Show, which is our big fishing show here in Michigan. It's the biggest one in Michigan.
Yes, it is.
And I had a little table set up in front of Wilson Marine. They let me have a spot because that's where the guy I was dating, he worked there. So they set me up a table so I could hand out flyers to promote the tournament trail. And then right across from me was Cabela's. So I was working the show, talking fishing with everybody, handing out flyers to everyone. And then at that show, I was introduced to a lady named Jerry, and her and I ended up partnering up. That was my very first partner for tournament fishing. So us two ladies together, and we're both over 6 foot. So we had our little fun team name. We were Team Amazon.
Yep.
And yep. So we fished that whole entire season together. I picked up Fishing Complete as my main sponsor, which I'm still with them to this day right now. But it took about 3 years, but the guy over at Cabela's was watching me the whole time. And he spent 3 years getting me on their pro staff. So
wow.
I was with
that the
Cabela's
Dundee
for a while.
Cabela's?
What?
Was that the Dundee Cabela's?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I would work at that Dundee's Cabela's all the time. I love working their sales. They could still call me today and I would go and work the sales. I love it because I get to talk fishing to everybody. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat that. Like, what better job?
I'm not on their pro staff anymore. Once Bass Pro bought them out, I was with them for maybe one more year and they kind of just dropped everybody. So basically my only pro staff I'm on anymore is Fishing Complete. So I'm kind of just doing the fun stuff and not being really super committed to anybody right now. But this coming up season's going to probably change some things, hopefully.
That's awesome. All right. So, all right, we discussed you going from live bait to artificial bait, and then also I know you mentioned to me before that one of your favorite techniques for fishing was finesse fishing.
Yes, that is my strong suit. So,
I got a question for you because I'm not experienced in fishing really big smallmouth, and it has always been something that I've always wanted to do. So when you're going out in these big lakes, what are you looking for? What structure are you looking for? What are things that you're looking for to go find these bass? And what is your best finesse technique?
So it depends on the different bodies of water. So like Lake Erie, I'm looking for isolated rock piles. They're usually associated with isolated rock piles. I'll also look at contours and look for, some of the transitions. And a lot of times you're going to find them on those big flats too. But you really do find them congregating towards the rock piles. St. Clair... on St. Clair, a lot of times you're looking for grass.
Okay.
Because where the grass is where the perch are, where the big smallmouth are. But there are also areas that you're looking for. You might be looking for a shipwreck. You might be looking for more isolated rocks. You might be looking for some docks, some timber, some wood that's down there. It just depends on what section of St. Clair you're on. And, the river's kind of the same thing. You're looking for rocks. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've probably noticed smallmouth love rocks, sand and rocks.
Yep.
So that's usually what I'm looking for. What?
Scooter's mom said this time of the year it's hard for fishermen to catch bass. What would be something that would help?
Well,
I think she's talking about the cold weather.
Yeah, so in the cold weather, you're looking for the bait fish. You're looking for the bait fish, and you want to match the size of the bait fish typically. So the term "match the hatch."
What about for those that don't have sonar though? What would you recommend?
Well, usually, I mean, it depends on your body of water, but the fish are going to be pushing the bait fish up shallow. So you're going to want to look for maybe nice transitions from deeper to shallower water where they're going to be pushing those fish up. If you're in bodies of water that you can get back into like creek arms and stuff, a lot of times the fish are pushing those bait fish back into those creek arms so that they can pin them and feed on them. So those would be areas I would look at as well.
Awesome. That is so cool. And then, oh man, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah. What preparations do you do before a tournament? Like, as far as do you use topographic maps? What are you doing when you're going into a tournament?
So so it depends on what tournaments I'm fishing. So the inland stuff, I've fished those lakes so much that I kind of just know where the hot spots are. So, but I'm usually focusing on like windblown points, structure that I know is down, things like that. If I'm fishing a body of water that has currents, that's gonna, like one of my main lakes that I fish is Kent Lake, and you're either going to be on the main basin of the lake. If you don't have a lot of current, a lot of the fish are going to stick in that main basin. But if you get current, you want to go back where the current's flowing in. So you'll go back in the river more. Big
Right.
water, the big water, I mean, this will be my first year boating on the big water. So I wasn't doing much prep work prior to, I mean, I
Oh,
pre-fished the tournaments, but it really doesn't do me a whole lot of good because I'm fishing wherever the boat
with
is.
somebody with the boat, so they're taking you wherever they're going. Okay.
Right, right.
So this is going to be
Now
pretty much your.
this season I did have a few times that because I pre-fished and my boaters were having a hard time finding fish, we actually used my spots.
Nice.
But you know, I kind of look at, okay, where are the community holes where I'm fishing and try to find something that might replicate what's in that community hole. Because I don't like to fish where everyone else is at. And I
Right.
don't like to fish where I've been fishing as a co-angler on the BFLs for 8 years. So that means I've been to pretty much every spot around.
Right.
And I don't want to be on those spots where I've gone with someone else. So I spent all season trying to find some new stuff.
Right.
I've got some stuff on St. Clair and on Erie. The river, I'm struggling a little bit more on because the river seems to fish real small. So
Okay.
basically every spot's a community spot. It's just
Right.
like getting a good boat draw and getting there.
That is so
And I have a
cool.
slow boat anyway, so everybody's going to pass me anyway. So it is what it is.
Yeah, dude, the engines that they got on those things, those motors they got, man. Oh,
I only have a
even though,
150. My boat only goes
yeah,
50 miles an hour topped out. Those guys' boats are going 70 something to 80 miles an hour. So
that's
my
insane.
my sister's in on the feed. Hi, sis.
Where's she at? Let's see.
That's
I
Carly.
think I seen her earlier. I think she said that you're the best teacher or
My
something
sis,
like that.
my sister and I fish the club, the Bass Coalition Club tournaments together on Wednesday nights, and she's just learned over the last 2 years how to fish, so she's been my fishing partner. So, and
That's so cool.
she's a great student.
Is she a younger or older sister?
She's younger, 3 years.
Awesome. That's so cool. That is neat. So, just so you guys know, anybody that's here on the live with us, welcome. We appreciate you guys here. If you have any questions for Kendra, just leave the question right up there, and we'll go ahead and ask it to her. Scooter's mom says, if you're not fishing with live bait, what lures work with the weather? I have fishermen that need help.
Okay, what area are you in?
She's mostly she watches a lot of bass anglers on TikTok. So I think in general,
Well,
as
in
she
the
said, with plastics work, Senkos, whopper ploppers.
yeah, I mean, right now, a great Alabama rigs are catching fish like crazy right now. Some smaller crankbaits, spinner baits. Great spinner bait. This is a great time for a spinner bait. Um, Even like a swim, I would say a swim jig, underspin. Those would be some good ones to have on point.
Yeah, I really like
And
those
you always
underspins.
want to have in the cooler weather, always tie on a jerk bait.
Okay.
I would always
Like
recommend.
a suspending jerk bait would be amazing, right?
Yeah, and you can play around with how fast you're working the bait to trigger the bites.
Yep.
So yeah, tubes would be good if they're hunkered down. You gotta. It's hard when you if you don't have electronics, but if they're hunkered down on the bottom, you gotta focus on bottom baits like tubes and jigs, Ned rigs, Texas rig plastics. I mean that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then especially with the colder water, slowing it down, slowing your presentation down.
Yeah,
Very
sometimes
key.
you have to slow it down and sometimes it needs to be quicker. You gotta mess around with it to kind of figure out what's triggering them. If they're really um, feeding on the bait fish, you want something that replicates those bait fish. Big swim baits and glide baits right now is really another good thing. I don't throw a lot of glide baits. That's something I need to really work on.
Yep. Start using them more. Get
Yeah.
used to using them more and
I
stuff
have
like
some.
that.
I don't have confidence in them.
What depth do you usually in tournament fishing? Does it vary dramatically, or what depths
It
are you
does. It
typically
does.
fishing?
I feel like on Erie and like Erie, you're going to be. I mean, you can be anywhere from 4 or 5 feet all the way into the 20s, depending on where the fish are staging. The last few times I've been out, they've been pretty much in the 10 to 18 foot range on Lake Erie. Um, but it just really depends. And it's the same thing on St. Clair. The river, you're pretty much fishing the same depth.
Right, the water's constantly moving. There's not really
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
You're just
yeah,
looking for structure at
yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's so cool. Anybody
Yes,
have any questions they want to ask?
I do fish blade baits.
What's up, Buck Love? How you doing, my friend?
That's a great spring and fall bait. We fish them both times on the big water, and they're amazing. The smallmouth love them, but the largemouth like them too.
Chilling, chilling, chilling. So let's see. Do you eat a lot of fish, or do you just catch and release, or do
I
you
will
do any?
periodically we'll hit the river and go for walleye for food. Um,
Yum.
and then I also love to ice fish and eat bluegill and crappie. So usually I try to get out a couple times a year and go grab me some good cold panfish. And I do like northern pike too out of the ice.
Yeah, northern pike's really good. Um,
Yeah.
you know how to you clean the northern pike yourself. You're really good at getting those Y
I'm
bones out
not
and stuff like that.
I'm not really good at cleaning any fish because I don't clean enough to be like super proficient in it. But
Right.
I don't usually get any of the Y bone in there. I just usually will follow um like a YouTube video. I've only
Yeah.
caught I've only cleaned a handful of them.
Yeah. Well, YouTube's your friend. Uh,
Yep.
Mindy asked, "What's your favorite setup for that slimy, squishy stuff in weedy areas that coat the whole lure?"
Okay, so you want something that stays off the bottom. So um you're still going to pick up some debris on whatever. If you have anything, like you can use a drop shot, you're going to pick up some of that slime on your drop shot weight, but that as long as you keep contact with the bottom, it's not going to really matter. You also could throw a spinner bait because it depends on what kind of weeds you've got. If it's kind of like a grassy weed, you can get your spinner bait through there. Or you can even do a Carolina rig. You're going to get a gunk on your weight, but you're not going to get it on your actual bait. That is going to keep it up, your bait up and off the bottom.
What's the largest bass that you've what's your PB bass that you've caught, and what did you catch it on? What's the story behind that stuff?
I don't know the weight of it because I didn't have a scale, but I would venture to guess the fish was close to 8 pounds. But I caught it in a small private lake on a jig, on a flipping jig. Yep, that's my biggest largemouth. And then smallmouth wise, I catch so many freaking smallmouth, and half the time I don't even weigh them, and they're huge. I caught one that was 6 pounds in a I can't remember what tournament it was that we were fishing. And I caught it on a Ned rig.
I love those Ned rigs.
I catch a lot of nice smallmouth on Ned rigs, but I don't throw a Ned rig like I used to. I used to throw a Ned rig so much that all the guys in the BFLs thought that's all I knew how to fish. Because the first season, 98% of the fish I weighed in were on a Ned rig because they were biting it. So there was no reason for me not to throw it, but they're not biting on it as good anymore. So this year, most of my fish all came on a drop shot or a crankbait. When it comes to smallmouth, my largemouth.
When you're drop shotting, what depth are you going off away from your weight? Like how far up are you going? And
it depends on the situation. But as a co-angler, I actually have a super long leader line because my boaters are usually on the move everywhere they go. So I usually have like a 3-foot leader. And I usually, my bait of choice is going to be something that looks natural, that's moving through the water, because my guys aren't sitting still like a traditional drop shot. You want to just drop that straight below you and just barely move your bait. And so then you might have a shorter leader line if you're vertically fishing that. But when you're bomb casting off the back of a boat that someone's going 100% on their trolling motor, some of these baits are not going to look natural at all moving through the water. So typically you're going to catch me throwing like a really small swim bait of some sort on there with a paddle tail, a little paddle tail. And I've had really good success with that. Though the flatworms, they actually look pretty good moving through the water. So that'll be another one I'll throw on there. Okay. Now, if I'm not fishing as a co, then I will vary up my length of my leader.
Okay, and a lot of people are asking it, and this is because we're getting into the winter months. We're in should be more fall than it is winter right now, but it doesn't seem to be the case out at least where I'm at right now. But Pat and Watson asked, what are some good winter baits for bass and crappie?
So, crappie, a good little tube. Like a little tiny crappie tube.
Yep.
Is kick butt any time of the year for them, but this year's time of year is really good. We were talking about earlier, for my arsenal for winter fishing I'm going to have an A-rig on. I'm going to have a jerk bait on. I'm going to have a spinner bait on. Depending on where you are, some people are going to want to have top water. The top water bite hasn't been going on real great here, so no top water for me. And usually maybe Texas rigs, some big worms can be really good.
Now, I want just for Pat and Watson. She mentioned tube jigs. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but those crappie, those really cheap crappie kits that they have at Walmart, they got those really tiny tubes they have the whole kit there. Mm-hmm. Honestly, guys, those are phenomenal.
They are
phenomenal for crappie.
Yeah. And when I in the wintertime, when I ice fish for crappie, basically I just use little tiny tungsten jig heads with like either typically like a wax worm or a wiggler on there. I mean
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
all you do. I
go-to.
mean, it's pretty. You would think it's so simple, but it's amazing. It works.
Yeah,
And
it does. It works.
yeah,
I mean, when when I'm jigging for bluegill, I mean, basically, I just have the. I love. Oh, I can't remember the company that makes it, but it's a little tungsten jig head that looks like a ruby. Like it looks like I could pull it out of my ear. It's got a
right.
little red ruby on it, and they have ones that are clear too, and they're super tiny. And then just a little spike on there, and
Yep.
just wreck them. Just wreck 'em.
Yep.
Yep.
Man, that reminds me of the old Michigan days ice fishing, man, back in the day, man. Oh my gosh, I miss it so much. I'm so hoping that I get out there next fall. We
That'd
should
be
be
awesome.
out there. Yeah, I really want to do some fishing with you. That's going to be cool.
That would
That's
be a
like
lot
one
of
of my
fun.
main goals is like during this traveling with TikTok, being new to TikTok and seeing the fishing community here. And so I'm trying every time I go somewhere, I'm trying to meet some new TikTokers and stuff like people that I'm friends with. It's like there's three of them in Arizona that I'm going to be meeting up with.
Oh,
Hopefully, I
fun.
can meet up with all three of them. But we'll see what happens because family's excited that we're coming down there and everybody's
Right.
already trying to make plans with us and stuff like that. So, but there is two that I am going to get with for sure. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then coming to spend time with my kids in Michigan. I'm trying to do some fall hunts out there this next year and stuff like that. So we're trying to plan our travels on that so that I can get out there and spend with them. And then while we're out there, I'm definitely one. You're going to be my main goal to come out and check out there. That'll be amazing. And I don't care if we're on a
Awesome.
boat or on shore. I just want to go fishing with you and
Oh,
learn
we'll
some
get out
stuff
in the
from you.
boat. We'll get out in the boat. There's where I live. There's a ton of lakes. So I mean, even if we don't fish tournament, we'll find something fun to do.
Heck yeah, that'll be amazing. That'd be cool to even do a tournament too, man. I can
That would be
wear
fun.
all the silver foxes stuff. I'm always kidding. You got to wear a tournament shirt, don't you? In those.
No, you don't have to. Nope. You can wear whatever you want.
All right, sweet. Oh, wear all the silver foxes stuff.
There you
We
go.
got any questions for Kendra right now before we move on? Anyone? 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 All right. I'm not giving them time to type.
You got to give them a minute.
Right,
So,
exactly.
so they were just
He
chatting.
say he could wear a speedo.
They were just chatting amongst themselves about Kenny is sitting in 32nd place at the wild card.
In the chat here? I missed it.
Oh no, they were talking about it in the chat. I talked to him earlier.
Oh, okay.
So, yep.
Oh, yep, I see it. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey,
Because
Nikki.
yeah, I forgot he was doing that. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Is that she changed her name again?
No, it still says Nikki falls down fishing.
I see a Nikki Madfam. Oh, there's two Nikki's. Okay, I was like, hold up. Okay, all right, there's two Nikki's. Buck Love asked, "Are you fishing any tournaments now?"
How am I fishing any now? No, I think I'm pretty much done for the year. In fact, this weekend I'm going to be working on the boat and getting it all set up for the winter. So,
So what's it like? What new experiences did you have owning your own bass boat that you can go out at? What learning curves did you have doing that?
I can't even believe I'm going to share what
It's
a
going to
learning
be backing
curve.
up the trailer, ain't it?
No, no, no.
Okay.
I used to have horses and
Oh, okay.
trailered all the time. So I pretty
So
much
you're a pro.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that. So
I used to be a farrier.
I've had three different boats. My very first boat was just a little like no name. I'd say it was like 14 foot with a little tiller motor on it. I didn't have that long before I upgraded to my bass tracker, Pro 175, and I fished out of that for a while. That's what I was doing all my club tournaments, and that's why I didn't do big water, because that boat just was not made for that. And I really didn't have any other real crazy issues with that other than what I've forgotten to put my plug in and had to go for a swim once.
No way.
Oh yeah, but it was like we were just docked still at the dock, but my trailer or my truck and my plug were all the way up in the parking lot, and I didn't want to go. It was easier just to jump in, and it was like 90 degrees out, so that wasn't bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that boat, one day I was out fishing on Half Moon Chain, and I like smelt smoke, and I turned around and my freaking motor was on fire.
What?
Yeah, something happened with the ground. I hurried up and got it out and didn't do any major damage, but it was something got screwed up with the ground wire on it. So
it is actually important to have a fire extinguisher.
I have one. Yep, I have one on my boat all the time.
Did you have one before that incident, or did you?
Oh yeah, I had it. Yep, okay. I had it. Yep. So yeah, I have one on this boat too. The most mishaps I've had is with the new boat.
Wow, ain't that something?
So you get in a routine when you've had the same boat for, for several years, and then you move up to a new boat and everything's different on that boat. So the first time I took it out, so both my tracker and this boat both have swing tongues on it. I don't have a very big garage. It just barely fits in there. I take the boat out. I'm going down the road. All of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror and I just hear bam. Like, what the hell was that? Well, I forgot to put the pin.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So the trailer folded and hit the back of my truck. Thankfully, I was going very slow.
Right.
And I had to improvise. I'm like looking around, like, how am I going to get the boat and the truck back to the garage? Well, I had a big, huge screwdriver in the bed of the truck, so I stuck that down in there.
Like, yeah.
Then I'm trying to find where the pin is. Where's the pin? I get in my car. I'm following, backtracking myself because I was just around the corner from the house. There it is in the middle of the road, right where I hit the truck.
Dang.
It was laying on the ground. So I got it myself. I should have just told myself, stay the hell home.
Right.
But do you think I did?
No.
Hell no. Put that in.
Why would you?
Why? So I head to the lake, and I get the boat off. Well, it's got a bunch of extra steps on this boat compared to my other one. It's got it's got like the motor mount thing is different, and the little things that go on either side of the motor to keep the motor from turning. I didn't have those on my old boat. So I forgot to take those little things off. I can't figure out why my motor won't turn. I mean, I did everything I possibly could wrong. So then I finally figured that all out, get that all out of the way. Then I go take the boat out and open it up for the first time. And I hit a sandbar.
Oh my goodness. Dude, what the heck? All in the same day?
All in the same day. I got it all done in one day.
So did you trash your prop?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it was like shaking on the way back,
I just stayed on the trolling motor, so I wouldn't do any more damage. And I didn't. Okay. I had the most epic day of fishing that day. What? So those pictures that I sent you, did you see the one with the really big, huge, fat stomach?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I caught a bunch of largies that day, all on a red crankbait, just one freaking cast after another. It was like the most epic day of fishing.
You guys hear that? Red crankbait. Crankbait.
Yes.
Let me ask you a
In the
question that
spring.
Bayou Pimp asked a little bit ago. He said, "What advice do you have for a young angler wanting to be a future pro angler?"
Well, I'm not a pro angler, but um, I would highly recommend anyone that thinks about fishing at a higher level is the BFLs were an awesome experience for me because I got to fish with different people every single time. You don't have to have a boat. It gets you a chance to experience being in the boat. So for me, I learned a lot just watching how my boaters handle their boats in rough weather and, you know, all the little tips and tricks that they use to keep their fish healthy, ideas of how to store my baits. I mean, it's a great experience being out of the back of the boat with the experience and different people all the time. You never know who you're going to fish with.
Right.
So I feel like I learned a lot from that. And the fees are affordable. They are not. It is not bad. Now,
I,
are the payouts great? No, no. But I think that the entry fees for Coast right now is like 110,
oh, that's not bad at all.
somewhere in
And
that range.
I mean, the co anglers get like what, $1,000 to $2,000 or something, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. I've won. Usually I pay for my season in my winnings, so I break even for my season
Okay,
in my winnings. This
that's
last
not
season
bad at
was
all.
this last season was my worst season by far. Okay, 113 with
Nikki
processing fee.
Nikki falls down. She asked, "How do you become a co angler, especially as a girl?"
Well, the fish don't care if you're a girl or not. You just pay your entry fee and you show up. Your only issue you got to worry about being a girl is if you got to pee. You got to have that figured out. I don't pee during tournaments. Uh, you can carry a big gulp cup with you, and you're good to go. Um, just be
Just
ready. Just be ready. If you beat the guys, you're going to have not all guys, but you're going to have some guys that get butt hurt and are going to talk smack about you. I've
yep.
put up with 8 years of it, and it does get annoying.
Let's see.
No, I'm not going to fish the LBAA. I don't have any interest. I like fishing against the men. I
Yep.
just do. I just
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. You got to show them up.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So
Let's
no,
see.
most likely I'll never fish the LBAs. I don't think I will. You never know though. I might change my mind.
MLF, and you can enter any tournament if you pay the fees.
Yep.
See, and I didn't know any of
The
this too.
BFLs, you got to pay a membership. You got to pay a membership fee, and there's no like prerequisite to get in for the BFLs or the Toyota Opens. I know who Stephanie is, but I don't know her personally.
I'm going through the comments right now.
Yes, I've fished Kentucky Lake several times. I've have had regionals there multiple times, and I haven't done well.
All right, I'm caught up.
Is there anywhere you can find a fishing rod that looks like a lightsaber? I have no idea.
Well, there honestly, there's a lot of rod makers here on TikTok that you can go to, and I'm sure they can use some glow in the dark stuff, and it'll look like a saber at night.
Well, that chunky catfishing guy, he wraps his all with the bright tape, and they
Yeah,
all
that
glow in
neon,
the
yeah,
dark.
that glow tape or whatever.
I think he actually makes custom rods like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many rod makers. Skinny water rods. Oh, I can't think of any right now. That's the only. I don't know why that one just popped in my head. Man, there's a lot of rod makers out there, man. What I say, reach out to them and give them your idea and see what they can come up with, because there's some pretty creative people out there.
Buck, I fish with a huge variety of different rods for my finesse fishing. I tend to lean towards, I love Dobbins. I also like TFO. I use TFO also for my swim bait rod. I love their, I actually use their saltwater swim bait rod for my swim baits. And then I have some custom rods that I really like. And I fish a lot of Lew's stuff.
I love them Lose, man.
I love them. I love their rods. I've never had any issue with them. I also love their speed spool bait casters. Super user friendly, easy to adjust, and they're workhorses. I mean, I fish a lot, and the price point is really good. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm on a budget. I'm not as much of a on as close of a budget as I used to be, but I used to be super like whatever I could get my hands on sale is what I would fish with because I couldn't afford the expensive stuff. And the nice thing of like TFO and Dobbins, they have several different levels of rods, so you can get something that's super affordable that's still an awesome rod. So
Yeah. I mean, I have a Lose bait caster. I mean, everybody here that follows me and watches my lives, they see me throwing that sucker all the time. I've had
yeah,
that thing for years. I mean, years I've had that thing, and that thing, it's a workhorse. And I honestly, with that bait caster, I've never cleaned it, which I can't believe that I haven't. I'm thinking about it now,
yeah,
but I've never cleaned it. That thing, it's still amazing. It's like it don't look new, but it sure as hell runs like it's new.
yeah.
It's freaking, and it was a one of the Walmart brand Lose, because I know Lose makes Walmart series Lose, and then they make the bigger box store,
Yeah.
you know, and just even the Walmart Lose, they're phenomenal. So those of you that are on a budget, man, Lose is, I personally think Lose is great. What do you think about?
I
Because
have a
I just
Tatula
recently
too,
got
Buck, and I love it.
The Johnny Morris series. That's my
Yeah.
newest
Hmm.
rod that I've gotten.
Hmm.
Rod and Reel, man. Oh my gosh, I love it. But
Yeah.
but I still love my Lose better.
Yeah. I mean, my speed spools, I mean, some of those I have been fishing with for 8 years, the same reels. And I use them constantly. And they just hold up. And I mean, they're $100. You
How
can get them
often
on
do you clean
sale
your
for even
reels?
cheaper than that. Say that again?
How often do you clean them?
Every year.
Well, okay, once a
At
year.
the end of the season, I clean them and oil them. And I am not like super anal about my stuff like a lot of these guys. I mean, some of
Right.
these guys change all their line out after every tournament. I use the
Not
same
me.
shit all year. I use the
Yeah,
same stuff all year. Yep.
exactly. If as long as it ain't frayed and I got
Yep.
enough line in my spool, I'm keeping
Yep.
it going. Yeah, I'm
Well,
exactly the same
I'm
way.
sure.
I just don't tell people that.
Nikki, for as a co-angler for my tournaments, I usually don't take any more than 6. So I usually am going to have sometimes 7 depending on the circumstances. So I always have a swim bait rod, a crankbait rod, a rod that I'm either throwing a jig or a Carolina rig on. I will have a Ned rig rod, a drop shot rod, and a free rig rod. Those are usually my 6. If I add a 7,
That's
it's if
crazy.
I know I'm fishing with a scoper, and I'll add a second drop shot rod. I'll have one that has a heavyweight for bomb casting, and then another one that has a super lightweight, so that when he is culling fish or he's got that boat on spot lock and is messing with something, I have a chance to drop under the boat and
Yeah, it's a lighter drop shot.
yeah, so it falls slower. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Black Wolf, we missed it, but any tips for first time co-angler going into the MLF for 2026?
Black Wolf, that's not true, that information you're giving her. It depends on where you're at. There is not a limit on how many rods through the BFLs that you can take. I've been fishing them for 8 years. Now, do boaters prefer that you do 6 or less? Absolutely, but that is not a rule. Charles, it depends on the what application. So on my drop shot rods, I will just use oh, I'm trying to think of what braid I'm using right now. I used a 10-pound braid. I'm not super picky about my braid, honestly. And then I usually use Seagar for my leader line for my fluoro.
All right, let's ask it. Let's ask
Yeah,
it this
Power
way
Pro.
for
Power
him.
Pro. I was having Power Pro is what I use for my braid. I was having a brain fart. Thank you.
Let's ask it this way. As far as baits are concerned, if you're out and you're having a tough time hooking onto fish, what is your go-to? What is your go-to bait that ends up
Drop
working
shot.
out for you? Your drop shot.
Yeah, drop
And then
shot.
what lure are you using with your drop shot? And with your drop shot, is it tied up? Is your hook tied directly tight to your line, or do you have, 6 to 8 inches off of your line?
No, it's right directly. It's right directly on your line. So I do. I cannot remember the name of the knot that I do. Basically, you slide your hook up, you loop your line around, and then you twist it through like 6 times, and then tighten it, and it holds your hook right out. Directly.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Yeah, I know what you're talking. I don't know what that knot's called either. I never.
I used to do the Palomar and then you take the tag line and you drop your knot through. But I find that after a while, the hook doesn't stay sticking straight out like you need it to. This other knot is much better. Much better. It keeps my hook right where it needs to be the whole entire time. Never have any issues with it. So, and then obviously, however long I want my tag line to be, anywhere from 3 foot down to 6 inches.
What's your favorite bait for your drop shot?
I love a flatworm.
The flatworm, what like a 6-inch flatworm or
4.5 inch is usually. I might downsize depending on the situation.
What size hook do you use?
1/0.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. That is awesome.
Some people do smaller. If you done now, the other thing is sometimes I will use a super light finesse Nico hook, not a weedless, just a regular Nico hook, and I'll thread it on there. Thread your bait on there. If you thread your bait versus nose hooking it, it'll last a lot longer.
Nice.
That's
your pro tip for
hooks.
today.
I use octopus hooks, no circle hooks.
Yeah, I've never used a circle hook before for that.
The only time I've used a circle hook was when I went fishing on the headwaters and we were using live bait, because legally that's the only kind of hook that you can use. And and it was funny because the person I was fishing with, he never fishes with circle hooks either. And I kept missing the fish and we couldn't figure out why. Well, it's because you can't set the hook with the circle hook.
Yep, exactly.
And it took us both a minute to realize what we were doing wrong. And then once we figured it out, we had it, but it was funny.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's why I see a lot of people when they're catfishing and using circle hooks and they're getting hits on these rods, they're picking them up and trying to set the hook. I'm like, what are you doing?
You're just ripping it out of their mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I want to scream at you right now. Dang it, Bobby, you just gave away my secrets, Bayou Pimp said.
What secrets? What secrets?
Which one are you talking about? Do you punch in the summer?
So
I think everybody punches.
I'm going to tell you, there is hardly any bodies of water here that we ever even have circumstances to punch, but Kent Lake does once in a while get to the point where we can do that, and I will go out there and I will definitely punch. Yep.
Like
not my strong suit though.
Weeds and lilies and stuff like that.
Yeah, you want the big thick mats is what you want for punching, and we just don't really get those.
Man, dude, I love punching for crappie.
I
Woo!
just I need more experience with it. It's not I'm not hugely confident in it.
Man, that's awesome. You know what, Kendra?
What?
This went by fast.
Yeah, it did.
This was pretty cool. I really like not. I really enjoyed not doing the whole list and questions. I mean, I kind of got caught up a little bit in it, but everybody on here came. I know I am echoing really bad. I don't understand why, but it was echoing on my end too, and it's kind of annoying, and it kept throwing me off. But is it echoing for you too when I talk?
No, it's not. It's weird.
Man, it is echoing bad on my end.
Nope.
And at first, when I first started talking, it was like throwing me off when I was trying to speak. But yeah, it is echoing, but it's all good. I I was saying this went really fast, and I was working really hard on not having questions written down. I wanted it to be more conversational and different things like that. And everybody here that came in helped me out with the questions, and
Yeah, that was
I think
awesome.
yeah, I think this is going to be the way I'm going to try and do it from now on. I wanted more casual conversation, but I was always nervous I was going to get stuck and not have a question to ask or anything. And there was a couple of times I didn't, and everybody pulled through for me.
Yeah,
So
everybody else had questions, so that was awesome.
exactly, exactly. It was awesome. Hey, let everybody know here where they can follow you, all your outlets, and so we can get your followers up there.
So mainly I use I mean, you guys see me here on TikTok, so you can follow me here through TikTok. And then I usually have a lot of content or try to put a lot of content on my Kendra Mueller angling page on Facebook. Everybody tries to follow me on my personal page. I'm trying to move everybody over to my angler page, but
Right.
I have like thousands and thousands of friends on my personal page, and I only got like 1,000 people on my on my
Well,
angler.
what you do is you go on there, you make a post saying, "Hey,
I did. I've done it. I can't tell you how many times, and they just don't want. They want to know what's going on in my personal life. I guess I
like,
don't.
honey, I'm gonna start removing all of you off of here and
Yeah,
blocking. If you want to see, come over there."
yeah. So that's really
You
the two
know, I
places.
actually, I think I requested you today
What
because
was
I
your?
think I
What was
found your
Silver?
first name.
Silver Fox had a question, and I don't know what it was.
Well, let me see.
Tom, can you tell us the question again, please?
He said he thinks it's getting filtered or something. Well, stop swearing. Doesn't. Let's see. What is it?
I know I typed something earlier. The feed started going really fast for a minute.
Yeah, it did start going fast, and I'm going back trying to find it.
I know he did ask something.
Copy it, paste it, and re-ask it real quick, or I can invite you in real quick, and you can and then you can ask it. Tomas.
On my free rig buck, I usually throw I use the Z-Man jerk shads, or I'll use the Z2s.
I don't know why I was getting filtered. All I always know is how far do you keep you like your hook away from your weight on your drop shot.
Oh, it depends. As a co-angler, I have it super long, like almost 3 foot. But
Yeah,
that's
because I know
because
for us right now the bats are really suspended
mm-hmm.
like above the grass line. You know they're
Yep.
not down. So I was just
Yep.
wondering how far you fish it like that. That's all.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends where the fish are located. You know,
Okay.
I will have a shorter one if they're really tight to the bottom. But man, like for smallmouth fishing, I feel like you have a lot more flexibility on how long your tag end needs to be because they will just come up after it. Even if they're on the bottom, they'll come up and grab your bait.
Yeah, smallies are far more aggressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank thank you, Tom, for coming in and
Yeah,
asking that
thank you, Tom.
question. All right, man. Well, that's the end of it. You guys give Kendra Mueller a visit. Check her out, her page. If she's worthy of a follow, give her a follow for sure. The same with me as well. Morales Outdoors. Check me out and give me a follow. I want to say thank you very much for coming on here. We're gonna have to do it again for sure because
That would be great.
this was really fun. This was pretty cool. I can learn a lot from you. We got a lot of bright people here on TikTok. The fishing community here on TikTok is amazing. I
You
love
guys can
all
also
of you guys.
you guys can also always keep track of me through Major League Fishing's page. If you just look up my name, you can see all my stats, and I'll be fishing the Michigan division as a boater this year. So
Is that
we
here on
do-
TikTok?
that's not on TikTok. They'll just Google it for
Okay.
MLF, and then we do live weigh-ins, so you can catch the weigh-ins too.
Dude, I'm gonna jump on that after we get off here. I'm gonna go look it up. I want to do that.
Yeah, like Kenny was live today with his weigh-in. I watched him weigh in today, and he will be
How did
weighing
he
in
do?
tomorrow. He's sitting in 32nd place right now.
What was his weight for the end of the day?
He had 13 something.
Nice. That's not bad. That's good.
No, so and there were some big fish weighed in on Pickwick today. That I saw a co-angler had a over 7-pounder today.
Oh no way!
And I knew the guy. He co-angles on the Michigan division.
Sweet.
So
Wow,
that was pretty cool.
that's a
Yeah.
that's a good fish for a tournament.
Yeah. I watched.
That's
I saw a 6.5-pounder weighed in, and then that 7-pounder weighed in not long after that. So that was pretty good. No, they were largemouth.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you will be fishing the Lake Erie?
Yeah, I'll be fishing Lake Erie. Yeah, we launch out of Trenton at Elizabeth Park, so I could be fishing St. Clair, Detroit River, or Erie.
And that's next year, folks, not this year. She's done
Yep.
this year, so
I'm done for the year. Yeah, it'll be my first year as a boater. I've been co-angling for 8 years. This will be my first. I've been a boater on my club tournaments in the open, inland stuff. But yeah, you only can watch the weigh-in through live. They don't share what's going on the water. Just the live weigh-ins.
Yeah.
At this level.
Well, thank you so much, Kendra, for coming and
Yes.
joining. I appreciate it. I am blessed to have you on here. It was so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Yes.
It was awesome. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you to each and every one of you for joining the Morales Outdoors TikTok Live podcast. I do not remember who I had on for next week, but we'll figure that out. Actually, when
Thanksgiving.
it is Thanksgiving next week.
Black Friday.
Okay, so I don't think that's the week after. Anyways, stay tuned, follow me, and then you guys will know when the next podcast will be the next guest because I forgot right now. So, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Kendra.
everybody.
And we will see you next time. And to all of you, deuces, peace. We love you. Have a great night.